I've been loyal to Microsoft Flight Simulator for decades, but this time I've had enough. So I've requested a refund for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and here's why. This wasn't an easy decision. As someone who's been flying with this franchise since Windows 95 days, I never imagined I'd be stepping away from a major release like that. But after experiencing what it feels like an unfinished product, I can't stay silent anymore. This isn't the first time we've faced with something like this. It reminds me of a release of Microsoft Flight back in the day, a release that left many of us disappointed and questioning the franchise direction. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 was marketed as revolutionary, with Microsoft even flying content creators to showcase it. This makes the current state more disappointing. Let me start by saying that Microsoft Flight Simulator has been a huge part of my life. For those early blocky graphics in the 90s to the stunning realism of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, this series has fueled my passion for aviation as a private pilot and content creator. That's why I've invested so much time and energy into this community. But Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it feels like a step back. A game that promised to revolutionize flight simulation, but instead left players like me feeling frustrated, overlooked, and like beta testers. Let's start with the issues. First, the loading times. Remember how painfully slow they are in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020? Unfortunately, they're still as bad in 2024. You'd think with all the promised advancements, this would be one of the first things they'd improve. But no, loading screens continue to be a significant problem, breaking the immersion. And let's not even mention the infamous login queue that had players waiting for hours just to get started. Despite stress tests simulating up to 200,000 concurrent users, actual demand exceeded expectations, overwhelming the infrastructure. The developers admitted to understanding player volume, which highlights a gap in both pre-launch preparations and communication strategies. Then, there's a decision to shift everything to cloud infrastructure. As someone working in IT, specifically in platform and application architecture, I understand the appeal. Streaming panels, airplanes, and features in real time sounds innovative. But in reality, it's causing more problems than it's solving. Server issues, missing assets, and glitches have made the experience unstable and frustrating. I'd also argue that it's a questionable architecture decision, given how heavily it relies on the availability of Azure cloud infrastructure. Take the Paro landing challenge, for example. Most landing challenges have seemed to be ported directly from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and this is a prime case where it wasn't thoroughly tested. It features Inibuild's A320 version 2, which sounds exciting until you actually try it. The final state doesn't match the challenge. You're dropped in the middle of an engine startup, and even if you manage to get the engines running, there's no thrust control. None. How are we supposed to land one of the world's most challenging approaches without basic controls? I experienced this on livestream, and it was undeniably a challenging moment. Instead of adding to the immersion, it pulled me right out of it, showing that there were still areas that need more refinement. Moments like these make it clear that some parts of the game could benefit from more thorough testing before the release. And this isn't just about one challenge or one bug. It's part of a bigger pattern. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 feels rushed. It feels like we're paying to be part of an early access program even though it's branded as full release. We're expected to endure the problems while they figure things out. That's not premium experience we were promised, and it's certainly not what the community deserves. As a private pilot in real life and content creator, I've built my channel around this simulator. In 3 years, I've shared the magic of flight, first on Facebook gaming platform and then later on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. The breathtaking views, the challenging approaches, thrill realism, especially flying on VATSIM. Microsoft Flight Simulator isn't just a game to me, it's a passion. It's my connection to the skies when I'm not flying in real life, an opportunity to share that passion with others, bridging the gap between real-world flying and simulation. But when technical issues like this pile up, when immersion is constantly broken, it stops being inspiring. It becomes frustrating. And for the first time in decades, I feel like I had to step away. So I requested a refund through Steam while I was still within my 14-day window. Not out of anger, but out of principle. Because I believe this franchise can do better. I believe that developers can deliver the polished, immersive experience we've been waiting for. But right now, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 isn't that experience. I'm not giving up on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Far from it. I still believe in its potential, and I'll keep creating aviation content using tools that work. But I'll wait for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 to reach the standard it should have launched with before I dive back in. So what about you? Have you been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Are you sticking with it, or are you as frustrated as I am? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about this, because this isn't just my story, it's ours. The story of a passionate community that deserves better. As always, blue skies and happy flying.